Good afternoon, Mrs. Cruz. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Mrs. Una. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for coming in today. Let's get started at looking at Astro's test scores. Here are his scores for the General Test of Achievement that they took back in March. The General Test of Achievement is a nationwide test to see how the student's doing with the curriculum being taught. So the top portion of this test right here is the demographic information. So it has the student's name, my name, the district, the name of the school, and you can see right here it has a student ID number. With this ID number, you can go into the system where the test company has, and you can use that number to look up your student, which keeps it a little confidential, so no one else can look it up but you. So if you want to look further into these scores, you can go on the website, like I said, and type in the number. Now let's take a look at the second section right here. The top section is known as the norm reference information, which is Astro's score. Scores are compared to the norm group. The norm group is a group of students from across the nation that took this test before it was released to our district. So now this bottom portion right up here is the criterion reference information. This tells us how he is doing individually on a specific skill. Do you have any questions so far?
Can you explain to me a bit more about how Astro and the norm group compare?
Yeah, of course. Okay, so the norm group is made up of about 5,000 kids from across the U.S., so it is a broad representation. If we take a look here at the bell curve, here in the middle is the results from the norm group, which is the average of the scores. By using the bell curve, we can see where Astro lines up with the norm group. So let's take a look at the score sheet again. The first column right here is the subtests and the totals. So the subtests are what the test is over, like vocabulary, word analysis, and reading comprehension. Now the bottom two rows are the totals. So the basic batteries is the cumulative of the core subjects like reading, math, language, listening, what we do in class regularly, and shows how he's doing it, how all these are together. The complete battery which is right here, is the accumulation of the entire test itself. The second column right here, if you can take a look, are the items on the test, and the column next to it is the raw score, which is a number of answers Astro answered correctly. Any questions?
I see here that he scored a 53. Does that mean that he needs to work on his reading?
Yeah, of course. So no, it doesn't. The 53 does not represent his grade. It is a percentile that he is in compared to the norm group. So let's take a look at the bell curve. We can see that he is compared to the other students. Astro's actually doing above the median right here. But he's in the average, so he's doing well in reading. He's doing well.
So what is percentile? Like, if it's not a percentage.
You're correct. It's not a percentage. The percentile is more of a ranking of where the student falls in his grade level. So look at it like this. When Astro was a baby, you took him to the doctor, and they ranked him on his percentile of height and weight compared to the other kids in his age. This is exactly what this is like.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. Thank you.
Okay, let's look a little more about percentile. Do you see the percentile band right here?
Yes.
So this percentile band is a scaled down version of our bell curve that I just showed you. You can see it is less detailed, and the line the line that goes down the middle of the percentile is the median, and the band right here is where Astro falls within the scale. The band also takes into consideration error, and we know sometimes the tests have errors, so which is the SEM, which is the standard error of measurement. The SEM is a plus or minus 3. So what that means is that it could be an error within the test, possible student error. So maybe something was not worded clearly on a test. Possibly Astro wasn't feeling good, didn't have a good breakfast. Anything couldn't happen. Anything could happen. He wasn't feeling good during a test, stressed out. So the SEM takes into that consideration of his score and rates it between 50 or 56. So like plus or plus 3 and then minus 3. But because of that, he is right at 53.
Okay. So you're saying that the 53 can be plus or minus 3, and that gives room for error?
Right. So he's in the 53rd percentile, but he could also be in the 56th percentile or the 50th percentile. Either way, he's marked as being in the 53rd percentile, but where he falls within the band is he's still doing well. So we can say how he's compared to other students. And now we could take a look at the scaled score, which is right here. Let's take a look at listening. His scale score is 565. We can get this number by the raw score, and then it's plugged into a formula that the testing company has, and that's how we get the scale score. We don't really use this often. It's more for the testing companies, and it's generated for them. So if we take a look here at the bell curve, you can see that he is in the upper part of the medium on the bell curve. So that means that he's doing really well in listening right here. He's doing really well.
Okay. So can you explain to me what this bottom part of the sheet is?
Yeah, we'll get right into that. What we just finished looking at is the norm reference here at the top information, where we compared Astro to other students around the nation. Right here at the bottom, this is called the criterion reference information, which is more on the individual level, how he did. So we have our subjects, and they are broken down into sub skills, like individual skills that he did. Whether he scored low, it's also based off whether he scored low, high, medium, and that's what these X's right here represent. Let you take a look. We also have down here on this column is the RS, which is the raw score, and which is a number that Astro got correct on the test. And then right here we have the NP, which is the possible numbers on that possible number of tests in that skill set. So since I just explained what criterion reference is, go ahead and take a look and let me know if you have any questions.
Okay. Can we go over the comprehension score?
So under comprehension, we have literal comprehension, and we see here that the raw score for literal comprehension is 17 out of possible of 20 questions. He could have gotten correct, and he is in the median percentile. He's right here in the median, medium, yeah, and he's doing pretty well in this part. Is there another one? I think he's doing really well in this part. Obviously, we can see. And do you have any other questions about another part?
Can we go ahead and look at structured analysis?
Yeah. So in structured analysis, which is right here, you can see that he scored 10 out of 10, which is the X is right under high. He scored perfectly. He's doing well in the structural analysis area.
Okay, and so what about in the listening and vocabulary?
So here under vocabulary, he's high. He's high on the part of the test, and we can also take a look at the work he has done during class. If you want to go ahead and take a look at numeration, which is under math concepts, right over here, numeration under math concepts. Here he scored 11 out of 17, which is low, but it not necessarily doesn't mean that he's not doing well. But if you take a look at his work, right here, his work, we can see that he's doing well with his work. He's getting the concepts. He's understanding counting and the results of numbers when you add them together. In my professional opinion, I think that Astro's doing well on that part of the class. Also, Astro always asks questions when he doesn't understand something. He makes it known to me that he doesn't understand, which is very mature of him to speak up. And when we're working on those, I do want to do want you to understand that there is that margin of give or take 3. Astro could been stressed about the test, like I said, sleepy, hungry, like over it already. He just wants to get done. So don't be alarmed. I don't want you to be alarmed that it does stay low according to his work that we're doing here in class. He's doing fine. He's doing great in like math. Any questions so far?
I'm okay for right now. Thank you.
I do want to point out here he's doing great in life science. He scored 7 out of 7, which is high. And again, I looked back at his life science portfolio, and he is doing great. Like, does he like to do science at home?
Yeah, he loves to be outside a lot, and he picks at bugs and gets into dirt and.
Yeah, we can see that here at school. He loves to bring in those roly-polies into class. We can see that he loves science. It shows in my class, and that he's trying to learn about science, always involved in science, always the first one to raise his hand and all that good stuff. I'm very happy to see him grow in that area. So what I want to do now is go over a few things on how you can help him at home and how I can help him here at school. With his weaknesses, I don't want you or him to get discouraged from these scores, because like I said, some of these stuffs like we probably didn't go over in class, and he was just kind of like, hey, I'm just gonna bubble in something. This is something that we can work with. We can work on. We can always use his strengths to work on his weaknesses. I feel like that's very important. Maybe we can send home pictures of bugs and like worksheets of bugs and all that good stuff. That way he can count how many bugs are on the sheet and cut out stuff, and that way it can help him work on his math skills, which is something he needs improvement on. You can even maybe bring in bugs from outside when he goes outside. Be like, hey, bring in some bugs and we can count them. I know it's a little risky with
all over my clean floors.
You know, it happens sometimes, but that way we can help him at home and with that whole like math, and maybe even doing homework, actually bringing live stuff. Because since he likes that live science. I will also be here at school, and I will have different types of instructions I can give him. Maybe more hands-on activities, incorporate science into his math lessons. This way, this is something we can tackle together and work on together. Do you have any questions so far?
I do not.
Okay. So here's some information for you. This can help you better understand the test scores and each part of these sections again. If you want to go back, explain to your husband kind of how Astro's doing in school. If you want to go over it again at home, even with Astro, please feel free to email me with any questions, text me, call me. I'm here. I'm ready to tackle this with you. We can get Astro on the right track.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Have a good night.
You too.